Welcome back to Nightmare Crypt. I need to get this out while I still can. If you're listening to this around Valentine's Day, I'm not trying to ruin the mood. I'm trying to warn you. I didn't think anything like this could happen to me. I'm not dramatic. I'm not paranoid. I've never believed in crazy ex stories or stalker horror. I used to roll my eyes at that stuff. But something happened last Valentine's Day that I can't undo. I made one small decision that night, just one. And now I sleep with my lights on, a chair jammed under my door handle, and a knife I've never used sitting on my nightstand. I thought it was romantic at first. That's the worst part. If I had trusted my gut earlier, maybe things wouldn't have escalated the way they did. Maybe he wouldn't have escalated. I'm telling it because if you start noticing the same things I did, small things, easy to ignore things, you need to leave immediately. Don't be polite. Don't try to understand. Don't try to calm them down. Just leave. Because once it tips over, it tips fast. And by the time I realized I was in danger, it was already too late. I met Daniel in early January last year. We matched on a dating app. Nothing unusual. He worked in medical sales, lived about 30 minutes outside the city, recently divorced. His profile was normal. Gym selfies, one picture with a golden retriever, one with his sister's kids. No red flags. Our first date was coffee, public place, daytime. He was polite, well-spoken, attentive without being intense. He asked about my job. I work in marketing for a mid-sized tech company, and actually listened to my answers. Didn't talk over me. After a couple bad dating experiences, that felt refreshing. We went out again that weekend. Dinner. He brought me a single white rose just because. I remember thinking it was a little cheesy but sweet. He texted consistently. Good morning. Hope your meeting goes well. Did you eat lunch? Nothing overbearing. Just steady. Looking back, the steadiness is what got me. By the end of January, we were seeing each other 2 or 3 times a week. He'd cook at his place sometimes. I'd host movie nights at mine. He never pushed for more than I was comfortable with. If anything, he seemed cautious. The first thing that felt slightly off happened about 3 weeks in. I had mentioned casually that I hated when people showed up unannounced. My last boyfriend used to do that, and it drove me crazy. 2 days later, Daniel showed up at my apartment with takeout. No warning text. He knocked, smiling, holding a paper bag from my favorite Thai place. I was in the neighborhood, he said. He doesn't live in my neighborhood. I remember standing there, keys still in my hand, feeling that small tightening in my chest. Oh, I said, you should have told me. I just got back from the gym. He laughed it off. I wanted to surprise you. It wasn't aggressive. He didn't push past me. He didn't get mad. I let him in. But something about the timing stuck with me. Because I hadn't told him I was going to the gym. I usually go after work on Wednesdays. That day I went early. How'd you know I'd be home? I asked casually while we unpacked food. He shrugged. Lucky guess. I let it go. It's easy to let things go when you want something to work. February rolled in. Valentine's Day was approaching. He started making comments about it early in the month. I have something big planned, he told me. I laughed. We've been dating a month. Don't go crazy. It's important, he said, and his tone shifted slightly. I don't do things halfway. That should have meant something to me. The week before Valentine's, I noticed he was texting more. Just checking in more frequently. If I didn't respond for an hour, he'd send a follow-up. Everything okay? You there? Did I say something wrong? It wasn't angry. It was anxious. I reassured him I was just busy. Meetings, deadlines. On February 13th, he asked if I had plans the following weekend. I might visit my parents, I said. He went quiet. For how long? He nodded, but something hardened in his expression. You didn't tell me that. I just found out yesterday. He stared at me for a second too long before smiling again. Okay, that's fine. It didn't feel fine, but he kissed my forehead, told me he couldn't wait for the next night, and left. That was the last normal conversation we had. Valentine's Day fell on a Tuesday. He told me to pack an overnight bag. Said he'd made reservations at a boutique hotel downtown. I hesitated. I have work in the morning. I'll drive you, he said immediately. I'll make sure you're on time. It felt like too much for 1 month in, but I didn't want to seem difficult. He picked me up at 7. He looked different, more intense, dressed sharper than usual. His car smelled like cologne, stronger than I'd ever noticed before. You look amazing, he said, but his eyes were scanning me, taking inventory. Candle-lit dinner reservation. Champagne waiting in the room. It was romantic, almost too curated. Halfway through dinner, he reached across the table and took my hand. I'm serious about you, he said. My stomach dipped. It's only been a month, I said gently. I know, he said quickly. But when you know, you know. That phrase. I smiled, but I didn't say it back. Something changed in his face. You don't feel it? I like you, I said carefully. That's not what I asked. The air shifted. It felt tight. I just moved slower, I said. That's all. He withdrew his hand. For the next 15 minutes, he barely spoke. Asked about work, about his dog. Short answers. When we got back to the room, I considered calling an Uber and going home. I didn't. I told myself I was overthinking. We got ready for bed in silence. Around 1:30 a.m. I woke up. He wasn't in bed. The bathroom light was off. I sat up. He was standing by the window. Just standing there. Staring out at the street below. Daniel, I whispered. He didn't turn around. Did you know there's a guy in a gray hoodie who's walked past this building 3 times? He said. My heart skipped. There are people everywhere. He stopped and looked up, Daniel said. I got out of bed and walked toward him. There are hundreds of windows, I said. He wasn't looking at you. He finally turned to face me. I don't like people looking at what's mine. The word mine landed wrong. I'm not something you own, I said lightly, trying to keep it calm. His jaw tightened. But I think he did. I barely slept after that. The next morning he drove me to work. The ride was quiet. Before I got out of the car, he grabbed my wrist. Last night, he said. He pulled away. I was tired. Emotionally, I stared at him. I just need time, I said. He leaned back in his seat. Time for what? To feel safe, I almost said. But I didn't. I went inside. That day, he texted me 27 times. By the time I got home, I had a voicemail. I don't like this distance, he said in a low voice. It doesn't feel good. I didn't respond right away. At 9:12 p.m., there was a knock on my door. My stomach dropped. I checked the peephole. Daniel. I hadn't told him to come over. I didn't answer. My phone lit up. I know you're home. Louder. Open the door, he called softly. Not yelling. Just firm. I felt something cold settle in my chest. After 5 minutes, he left. I waited 10 more before turning on the lights. That's when I saw it. A small, neatly wrapped box sitting outside my door. No note, just my name. My hands were shaking when I brought it inside. Inside was a silver necklace and a folded piece of paper. It said, "Don't push me away." That was the first time I felt real fear. And it didn't stop there. If you're listening and you're enjoying this, make sure you're subscribed to Nightmare Crypt. But more importantly, listen closely to what comes next. Because this is where I should have gone to the police. And I didn't. Tried to end it. I called him during my lunch break. I think we're moving too fast, I said. I need space. There was silence. Then very calmly, "You're overreacting." "I'm not comfortable," I said. "You're scared of commitment. That's not fair." He exhaled slowly. "You're not breaking up with me," he said. It wasn't loud, it wasn't angry, it was a statement. "I am," I said. Another pause. "Okay," he said finally. "If that's what you want." It sounded reasonable, almost gentle. That night, my Instagram password stopped working. Then my email logged me out. Then my bank app. I thought it was a glitch, until I saw the email. Password reset request approved. At 2:03 a.m., I didn't request anything. I locked my doors, changed everything from my laptop. The next morning, my car wouldn't start. The hood was slightly unlatched. Inside, wires had been cut. cleanly. I sat in the driver's seat shaking. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. You should let me help you. I couldn't breathe. That was the moment it tipped, and it only got worse from there. I didn't respond to the text. I just stared at it while sitting in my dead car, parked in my apartment complex lot with my hands locked around the steering wheel. My chest felt tight, like the air had thickened. You should let me help you. It wasn't threatening. That's what made it worse. I called roadside assistance and told them it looked like rodent damage. I couldn't bring myself to say what I really thought. While I waited, I kept scanning the parking lot. Every passing car made my stomach drop. I half expected to see him leaning against something, watching. The mechanic later confirmed the wires weren't chewed. They'd been cut with something sharp. Clean slice, he said. You pissed somebody off? I laughed like it was a joke. No, but my voice didn't sound right. I deactivated my social media accounts. I told my parents a vague version of what was happening, left out the parts that made it sound insane. I didn't want them to panic. For 3 days there was nothing. No calls, no texts, no signs of him. I started convincing myself I'd overreacted. Maybe the car was unrelated. Maybe someone tried to steal parts. Maybe the password resets were random security breaches. I wanted a rational explanation. On the fourth night, around 11:40 p.m., my doorbell rang. Just once. I froze on my couch. I hadn't ordered food. I wasn't expecting anyone. I didn't move, didn't breathe. 30 seconds later, it rang again. Then my phone lit up. Unknown number. I declined the call. Immediately, another text came in. I know you're in there. My throat went dry. I crept toward the door and checked the peephole. The hallway was empty. But at the bottom of my door, barely visible in the gap between the wood and the floor, was a shadow. Too close. I stepped back. Another text. You don't have to be scared of me. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. I called 911. By the time officers arrived, the hallway was empty. They took a report. I showed them the messages. I explained the breakup, the car. Has he threatened you directly? One of them asked. No, I said. Has he harmed you physically? No. They nodded like that settled something. We'll document it. If he shows up again, call immediately. After they left, I stayed awake until sunrise. The next week was worse. He didn't come to my door again. Instead, he started appearing in places I couldn't prove. At the grocery store, I caught a glimpse of someone at the end of the aisle, wearing the same navy jacket he owned. When I moved closer, the person turned away too quickly. I scanned the mirrors between sets, expecting to see him behind me. Nothing concrete. Nothing I could point to, just the feeling. Sleep started slipping. I'd wake up convinced someone had been standing over me. I began leaving the TV on at night, just to fill the silence. One evening, I got home from work, and my apartment smelled different. Not strong, just unfamiliar, like his cologne. I walked through every room. Nothing moved. Nothing stolen. But my bathroom window was cracked open. I never opened it. I called the police again. They found no signs of forced entry. Maybe you forgot, the officer suggested. I didn't forget. I started keeping a small piece of tape on the edge of my door. If someone opened it while I was gone, it would break. The next day when I came home, the tape was gone. Cleanly removed. Not torn. Removed. My stomach dropped so fast, I had to sit down. I didn't call the police that time, because I knew what they'd say. No proof. No cameras. No witnesses. Just me. 2 nights later, I made the mistake of answering a call from an unknown number. I don't know why I did it. Maybe I was exhausted. Maybe I wanted it to stop. Hello? Silence. Then breathing. Slow. Steady. Daniel, I said quietly. You changed your locks, he said. It wasn't a question. My blood went cold. How do you know that? I tried the old key, he said. My knees almost gave out. You don't have a key, I whispered. You gave it to me that weekend you stayed over. Remember? I did. I'd forgotten to take it back. I returned it, he said calmly, under your doormat. My skin crawled. I hadn't checked under the doormat. Why are you doing this? I asked. You made me feel disposable, he said. His voice shifted, not yelling, but trembling underneath. Like I didn't matter. That's not what this was, I said. You don't get to decide that. Then the line went dead. I ran to my door and yanked it open. Under the doormat was a key and a small folded photograph. It was a picture of me, from behind, walking into my apartment building. Taken recently. I couldn't breathe. That was the first full panic attack I've ever had. My vision tunneled. I slid down against the door, shaking so hard my teeth clattered. He'd been close enough to photograph me, close enough to try my lock, close enough to stand outside without me knowing. I finally filed for a restraining order. I brought the texts, the photo, the key. The clerk looked at everything carefully. Has he physically assaulted you? She asked. No. Has he threatened bodily harm? Not directly. She sighed softly, like she'd seen this before. You can file, but without explicit threats or violence, it may not be granted. I filed anyway. The hearing was set 2 weeks out. 2 weeks. I started staying at a friend's apartment some nights. I turned off location sharing on everything. But he kept finding ways to remind me he was there. A bouquet of dead roses on my windshield. A note taped to my office door that said, "You can't erase me." My coworkers started noticing I was distracted, pale, jumping at sounds. One of them walked me to my car one evening. We didn't see anyone, but as I drove away, headlights pulled out from 2 cars behind and followed me through 3 turns. When I sped up, they sped up. When I slowed down, they slowed down. My hands were shaking so badly I nearly ran a red light. I drove straight to the police station. The car kept going. No plate I could catch. Too dark. I sat in the parking lot for 15 minutes before I felt steady enough to move again. The night everything broke was 3 days before the restraining order hearing. I was tired of running. I double-checked every lock, every window. I wedged a chair under the doorknob. Around 2:17 a.m. I woke up to a sound. Not loud, just subtle. A faint metallic click, like something brushing against metal. I held my breath. Another sound. Soft scraping. My bedroom door handle. Someone was turning it, slowly, testing it. The chair under the front door wouldn't matter if he was already inside. My body went completely still. The handle turned again. Slow pressure, then stopped. Silence. I didn't move for what felt like hours. Then, a whisper, right outside my bedroom door. I just want to talk. My blood felt like ice. He'd gotten in. I don't know how. Window, spare key. I still don't know. I reached slowly for my phone on the nightstand. It slipped from my sweaty hand and hit the floor. The whisper stopped. Footsteps, slow, approaching the bed. That was the moment I realized I had completely lost control of this situation. And he was in the room with me. I didn't scream right away. I don't know why. Maybe some part of me thought if I stayed still, he'd think I was asleep. Maybe I was trying to buy time. The room was almost completely dark. I turned off the TV for the first time in days because I was exhausted. The only light came from the street lamp outside, bleeding faintly through the blinds. I could see a shape, not clearly, just a darker shadow moving against the dark. He stepped around the foot of my bed slowly, like he didn't want to startle me. "I know you're awake," he said softly. My entire body was shaking under the blanket. I couldn't control it. "Daniel," I whispered, my voice cracked. "You need to leave." "I tried leaving," he said. "You wouldn't let me." That didn't even make sense. He moved closer to my side of the bed. I could smell his cologne, that same sharp, heavy scent from Valentine's night. "I didn't break in," he said calmly. "Your bathroom window latch is loose. I told you that weeks ago. You didn't listen." The fact that he'd noticed something like that weeks ago made my stomach twist. "I'm calling the police," I said, even though my phone was on the floor somewhere. "No," he said, and the softness in his voice disappeared. Not yelling, just firm. "You're not." He sat down on the edge of the bed. The mattress dipped under his weight. I felt the movement. That's when the panic exploded out of me. I scrambled backward, hitting the headboard. My hand fumbled behind me and knocked over the lamp. It crashed to the floor. I screamed. Not words, just a raw sound. He grabbed my ankle. Hard. "Stop," he hissed. I kicked as hard as I could and connected with something. His shoulder, I think. He lost his grip for half a second, and I lunged off the other side of the bed. My foot hit my phone on the carpet. I snatched it up and ran for the bedroom door. He caught my wrist in the hallway. The grip was crushing. "You're not listening to me," he said through clenched teeth. "I just want you to understand." I tried to yank free, but he was stronger. I hit the emergency call button on my phone blindly with my thumb. He saw the screen light up. Something in his face changed. Not anger. Something worse. Resignation. Like he'd crossed a line he couldn't uncross. He shoved me hard against the wall. My head hit drywall. My vision flashed white. "You made me do this," he said. I could hear the dispatcher's voice faintly from the phone, tinny and distant. "Hello? What's your emergency?" He looked down at the phone in my hand, then at me. For a second, everything went still. Then he did something I still don't fully understand. He stepped back. Just stepped back, like he was calculating. Sirens were already faint in the distance. I don't know if someone else in the building had called earlier when he entered, or if the emergency call had pinged fast. His eyes locked on mine. "You should have loved me," he said quietly. Then he ran. Out the front door. I collapsed to the floor, shaking so hard I thought I was going to black out. Police found the bathroom window open. The screen bent inward. They searched the area but didn't find him. This time they didn't ask if he'd hurt me. My wrist was bruising purple. There was a swelling knot forming on the back of my head. They took it seriously now. Too late. The restraining order was granted 2 days later. He didn't show up to the hearing. The judge reviewed the break-in, the 911 call, the photographs, the messages. Approved. On paper I was protected. But paper doesn't stop someone who already crawled through your window at 2 a.m. He disappeared for almost 3 weeks after that. No calls, no sightings, no flowers, nothing. That silence was worse than the noise. I kept expecting something. I installed security cameras inside the apartment, changed every lock, reinforced the windows. I started sleeping in short bursts. Every creak of the building made me jolt awake. I thought maybe it was over. Until March 7th. I came home from work around 6:30 p.m. The hallway felt normal. Quiet. My door was closed. Locked. Everything looked fine. Inside, nothing seemed disturbed. I almost felt relief. Then I noticed something on my kitchen counter. A single white rose. No wrapping, no water, just laid flat on the surface. My knees went weak. I checked the cameras immediately. They'd been unplugged, all of them. The wires weren't ripped out. They were carefully disconnected. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold the phone to call the police. There were no signs of forced entry again. No fingerprints they could pull. Nothing useful. But that wasn't even the worst part. The worst part came that night. Around 10 p.m., my phone buzzed. Unknown number. A single message. "I'm inside again." I couldn't breathe. I spun slowly in my living room, scanning corners, doorways, shadows. Every part of me was screaming to run. Was inside. Running meant turning my back. Another message. "You'll never feel safe anywhere." I bolted for the door and ran barefoot down the hallway, not even locking it behind me. I pounded on my neighbor's door until she opened it. I must have looked insane. They called the police again. Officers cleared my apartment room by room. No one. Windows locked. Closets empty. Under the bed, empty. He wasn't there. But that message had been sent seconds before I ran out, which meant he had been watching from somewhere, either inside recently or outside with a clear view. I moved out the next day, broke my lease, lost money, didn't care. I went to stay with my parents 3 hours away. I thought distance would fix it. It didn't. 3 weeks ago, I received a padded envelope at my parents' house. No return address. Inside was the silver necklace he'd given me, and a printed screenshot of my new address. I never posted it online. Only close family had it. At the bottom of the paper were 4 words: "You can't relocate me." I went to the police again. They said unless he violates the restraining order in person, or makes direct threats of violence, there's little they can do preemptively. He hasn't tried to break in again. He hasn't touched me again. He doesn't need to. I jump every time a car slows down outside. I scan parking lots before getting out. I don't go anywhere alone after dark. Sometimes I see a navy jacket in a crowd and my vision blurs. Maybe he's watching. He's not. But the fear is constant, permanent. Valentine's Day is tomorrow again. I took the day off work. I'm sitting in my childhood bedroom recording this because I don't feel safe staying quiet anymore. If you're in something that feels slightly off, if someone moves too fast, watches too closely, uses words like mine too easily, don't rationalize it. I did. And now I live like this. Because here's the part that keeps me awake. He hasn't broken the restraining order. Not technically. Which means he's patient. And if he's patient, then he's waiting. And I don't think he's done with me. I think he's just choosing his next move carefully. And when it comes, I don't think I'll get a warning first.